Greetings and welcome for a final time to these FIH World Cup qualifiers from Ismailia in Egypt. We arrive now at the last game. The goal.
Sport, and people they're desperately waiting that hockey should come back, and they wanted to see Pakistan hockey in Olympics and World Championships.
Yeah, really pleased, especially yesterday. I thought we brought a real intensity and a real relentlessness to our game, which we've asked the boys to try and produce every game, and I thought we really showed it yesterday. So nice to be coming into form now. Looking forward to this game. I think it'll be a very similar challenge. Pakistan are predictably unpredictable in lots of ways, but they offer the same sort of challenges with the skills, with you good under the high ball as well.
And in winning a final, there's also a challenge in doing that, no matter who you're playing.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, we've got quite a lot of young guys in this group and a lot of guys who probably haven't done that yet. So I think that would be an important step for us to try and take that next step, win a final and go on from there.
Two very proud coaches then in charge of their respective team. Manager Paul Gannon confided that the win is important if England are to stay in the top four. Here is the Pakistan team. Rahman starts in their goal. But Khan Mahmood and Likat, the back four. And then the engine room of Shakil, Hayat and Gansafar. Leaving Afraz, Nadeem and Orana, the Quicksilver forwards. Robert van der Horst there, one of the assistant coaches with England, a former great, of course, with the Netherlands. Now, he is used to winning things because that's the way of the Dutch. But this England team, as we heard Zach Jones saying, many of them are not used to being in finals and certainly not used to taking away gold medals. That's now the aim. Zach Jones just adjusting his earphone there. England in their all-white strip then underneath the floodlights here. It's about time we heard from Todd Williams. Todd, the last game of what has been a fabulous tournament. Have we saved the best to last, do you think, or is that being too greedy?
Well, hello Nick, hello everybody. No, I don't think that's being greedy at all. And, well, we have the two undefeated teams here. They've won all of their matches. This tournament there's been two storylines to it. One has been the simple fact of qualifying for the World Cup. Both these teams have done that. And now, of course, we can focus solely on just winning a tournament. And as much as England will expect to go through this as they have the other games, if there's one team I think that can really cause them trouble, it is Pakistan.
Indeed, I think Pakistan on their day. They've had a few of those days already here in Ismailia. Pakistan on their day, capable still of living with the best. Their next appearance in the World Cup will be their 14th, but already England here on the front foot, and they've earned the early penalty corner here.
The ideal start, 49 seconds in, already penalty corner. Yes, Nick, I loved in your opening comments, and combining it with the comments of Coach Junaid. Oh wow, this is an early referral, Nick.
Oh my goodness me.
Can you have a look first, please? I think there was danger.
Comments of Coach Junaid.
Dangerous play by the attacker. Let's see what we can spot here. A little lift there, but hardly would say that was dangerous. Well, is this a little bit of headstrong behaviour from the Pakistanis here. If they lose this referral here, barely 2 minutes into the game, it's a long, long way to go without the right to further
please.
referrals.
Go back. Before this one.
Hideki Kinoshita has the hard job now of sorting out what is right and what is wrong. Is that the moment, Todd, do you think?
Yeah, well, that's all good. I think arguably it's that one, I think, Nick. I think that's where
Okay, decision coming.
Cownan's lifted it into that area, which is not on goal. So that's the...
Yeah, that could be the one.
Yeah.
Raps, can you hear me? There is no clear reason to change your decision. You can restart with penalty corner in Pakistan. Lose the referral. Thank you.
Well, Pakistan have thrown one, I'm afraid, away there somewhat. It was on the margins, wasn't it?
It was 49 seconds in, can I just point out?
Well, that might be some of your record. I can't remember an earlier one being lost than that, and certainly not in a final. Now, maybe this is part of the learning curve as well. Maybe this is something that Junaid has not had a chance to cover off just yet.
Yeah.
I think he might have made a note in his notebook about it, though. You need cool heads, and you need a senior.
And that in itself can help with the mind games, just the goalkeeper knowing that there's no margin for error. So, huge aerial from Mahmood.
So bright and breezy start to this final. No pressure on these sides. They know that they are, of course, booked into the World Cup. But as we said earlier, the preparation for those World Cup game has already started here.
Oh, great pass. Nick, you're saying no pressure when I was talking to the
started here.
Oh, great pass. Nick, you're saying no pressure when I was talking to the Pakistan coach Junaid in the pre-game. He reminded me, of course, I said just how pleased he, his team and his nation must be that they're in the World Cup, and of course he said yes, that it's very much a position they expect to be in. And then of course he reminded me that hockey is the national sport of Pakistan.
Absolutely it is.
So I think time waits for no man. They've made the World Cup and now they expect to win this tournament.
Well, they have a savage, I'm sure, heralds this new dawn for Pakistani hockey, but should they fall from grace either here in this final or in subsequent games, they'll be right back on the front foot attacking them.
Yes.
And when I say there's no pressure here and now in Ismailia, but with Pakistan, there's always pressure.
This is where they can really focus in on the experience that they've gained from an albeit pretty tough going in the Pro League. But they do have that experience. They have been playing against the world's top countries. In going. And before I forget, Nick, as we talk about these two teams, we also need to mention the two umpires that have been appointed for this match, Sean Rappaport and Aziz Adima from Ghana. This is a big occasion for them as well.
Indeed it is. Two representatives of the...
They have indeed, Nick. It's been a huge pleasure to...
Well,
yes.
Everywhere on that. Zach Jones down there looking into... For coach. I'm sure he has his moments of less than calm, but his team have responded well to it. It looks a very much together group as we see them around the team hotel. The same could be said for Pakistan.
Yes, I completely agree, Nick, on the England front. And just to give a little point to make, that this group is together but also performing very well. It's pretty hot competition to make their starting lineup. Stu Rushmere not involved today. He's had an excellent tournament. He's played really well, and I really do think, I would think the argument around his selection would be more to do with balance of the team rather than form. Sam Taylor also not involved, and again another player that's been doing great things for them.
Yes, they've spelled some of their players. We've seen Nick Banderak sitting out one, if not 2 games. Zach Wallace has had a game off. I think Ben Fox has missed out on one. So probably this is a predetermined thing. They're vitally important, of course. And Zach is still learning about this group. You learn with every game in many ways, different circumstances. Now, England coming forward with purpose again. Lovely ball through, and well watched by Pakistan's defence, who run the ball out towards the corner flag there by way of relieving a dangerous looking situation. England buzzing again.
Yes.
I'm sure they feel that their fresher legs, their excellent physical preparation for this tournament gives them a distinct advantage here in this one, and indeed against most opponents they've come across, because they really are in good fettle.
It's just so far so good for Pakistan, Nick, as we're over halfway, but it's been noticeable to me that Zach Wallace has had now 2 or 3 half chances, if you like, from the midfield.
Sam Ward winds up the shots and is penalised.
And whilst Pakistan are being pretty quick to close him down, I think that's playing with danger. Very good play there from Ben Fox. He's turned quickly. But yes, Nick, you've got the likes of Wallace and Salisbury, both, and Goodfield, of course. You can see Wallace now in picture there. He's looking to get the ball in areas where he can go from that area to within proximity of the circle.
This is Ward again on the ball, spins away from the would-be challenge, lays the pass off, beautifully top of the circle, shots coming in, and very well defended there by Pakistan. That was a terrific kick.
James Gall, if anything, Gall was just given a little bit too much space, and that just allowed him to...
Well, England are going to say they were the natural receiver there. The umpire saw it differently. Are they going to take this one upstairs?
Well, we go into the issue that we saw Pakistan faced with, in the sense of, would England want to cough up their referral still well and truly into the first quarter? This will give us a good idea of the play. Gosh, that's a line ball, that one. There's a few issues at play, Nick. One was it in the circle, and I'm not saying it wasn't. The other was the England player able to retreat? But here we are.
England out quickly.
Nick Park, excellent number 1 runner.
Very committed there to the run. One thing England have not been tested on very much in this tournament is penalty corner defence, because they've been pretty much in the ascendancy on every outing.
And that said, though, Nick, they will know the strength that Pakistan have. Abu Mahmood, Sufyan Khan, but
yes, I'm not suggesting for a moment they won't be tested to see, for sure, but really just something else that Zach Jones can test out.
And
stress testing.
Wouldn't say that Nick Park was out there quickly, but it did look like he had to wait for the injection to go past him, put it that way.
He's got some speed on him, hasn't he?
He certainly has. But again, we're now beyond 10 minutes through the quarter, and one corner each to the teams. England have had the bulk of possession, but so far, Pakistan have been pretty compact and dealt with most things in and around their defensive circle.
Sanford drills one forward. Looking for the run there of Nick Banderak.
Oh, it's good play. You love this, Nick. Oh, now.
And I think
Now, there's a green card straight away to Banderak. So
he was chirping away at the umpire, and the umpire was quite within his rights to send to the bin, and that's part of the game that Nick probably would do with improving upon, just tightening up. So a couple of minutes now for England with a man less. Can Pakistan capitalise?
yes, Nick, just watching Pakistan work the ball out of the left corner. Their coach, who used to play in exactly that position, had a stick at the ball and told me he was working on a new trick.
I saw you down there. I wasn't sure whether he was...
Oh, here we are.
Real scramble in front of goal. Wasn't sure whether you were coaching him or he was coaching you.
Oh,
I'm very pleased to hear, Todd, it was him coaching you.
you can be absolutely sure of that, Nick. I would not be the one teaching Junaid new stick skills out of the left corner.
So just over 2.5 minutes left in this first quarter here.
And just right there, Nick, that's the difference. We're playing in a final. That's that scrimmage of play in front of Ollie Payne in his net. I'd say in the 4 games prior to this, there's probably been, 1 or 2 instances like that so far for England to deal with. So that gives an indicator of this is very much a different game to what they've faced so far in this tournament.
Yes, it is. Pakistan, of course, probably better prepared for this sort of competition. They've had some real scraps even to get here. They've not taken the easy route to the final. And when did Pakistan ever take an easy route?
In Zach Jones's words, Nick, predictably unpredictable.
Yeah, and that's part of the magic of them.
It certainly is.
It's why I think a lot of hockey lovers who may not be natural supporters of Pakistan will be quietly satisfied that the green shirts are back in the big time. I'm sure our viewers have heard me say on many occasions when asked about my favourite game of hockey ever, and there's been quite a few of them to look back on, I can deliberately reply, well, any game where India and Pakistan are playing each other, because they never disappoint.
And what Pakistan are doing very well here, Nick, is that they are avoiding any points of pressure from the, except for the right there. Thank you very much, as ever. But they're quick to get numbers behind the ball.
England quickly away again. And running into a green wall there.
Yes, the point I was making is England man-to-man pressure, but so far Pakistan have been very careful not to go into any areas where they can lose the ball cheaply in the midfield.
Or into the last half a minute of this first quarter. So far, no goals, but England doing their best here. This is a chance for them down their right-hand side. Tom Salisbury's, for my money, is an outstanding tournament. He's shown himself to be truly a world-class player in my book. He's develops with every international appearance that I see, and he's non-stop. So quarter time here. No goals to report back on, but we've got a great final on our hands, Todd, here, I think, in prospect.
Yes, and interesting, Nick, that you should mention Tom Sorsby right at the end there, because that's we probably have seen him less in that quarter than we have in any game so far, and clearly that's where pardon me, that's where Pakistan are focusing their attention, because they know that it'll be a very long day indeed if they have the likes of Wallace, Goodfield, Sorsby, these guys running at them. So even with Zach Wallace and the times that he has had the ball, they've done a pretty good job of closing him down. So it's very interestingly and evenly poised.
Certainly is, as our camera work brings us up close into the action here. Sam Ward causing problems, which is the reason he was put on this earth in the first place. I don't think our stick manufacturers will be too sorry with these rather excellent slow motion replays, will they?
No, I agree. And but to go back to that point about the Pro League, Nick, the most obvious thing for me is that, and you can imagine how difficult it is for the teams in this tournament that aren't in the Pro League, is that the pace, the ball movement, the player movement, the pace that England have begun the game with, Pakistan clearly have been more comfortable in matching that because of their experience of what is, I think, 8 or so games in the Pro League season thus far.
Yes, I fear their playing record is played 8, lost 8, mind you.
Yes.
But, but they've seen a lot of... they've done a lot of defending.
That's true, and that's exactly my point, is that, okay, they haven't had the results, but they're definitely used to playing at this pace. Here we go.
Nicely left. Now, there is real pace about this attack. England funneling back into the correct defensive shape.
Now, Connor Williamson has done very well there, Nick, in not really making a tackle and not doing anything other than giving away a free hit entirely legally, just as we see as Sam Ward dealing with an injury. But the difference in defensive requirement from when Williamson went into that tackle, with Pakistan running at him at high speed, compared to the shape they were in after the free hit, was quite about 3 or 4 players worth of time that Williamson bought for his team there.
Connor Williamson, the son of former Welsh international indoor and out Mike Williamson, who played club hockey in the halcyon days of Hounslow Hockey Club. One of the greats of Hounslow was here the other day, John Potter, now a member of the executive board of United States Field Hockey. Great to see John again, an Olympic gold medalist, of course, with Great Britain back in the Seoul Olympics of 1988.
Oh, good play from Williamson.
I don't remember his father going on those surging runs, but he was a very, very solid defender with a very long reach, made him very hard to bypass. And something of an indoor specialist as well. He was a very cultured indoor defender. Now Waller. England in good shape here. Well, they'll score tinier goals than that, but it doesn't matter. England have the lead here, and eventually the pressure has told.
Yes, I think this is in off the Pakistan defender, but we saw in that entire play England getting deeper and deeper into the Pakistan circle, and eventually it fell to Waller. Waller drives towards the circle, puts the ball in from good field. The rebound comes along, and I'm afraid I think the replay will show that it's off the skipper, so it was already going to be a corner. The skipper puts his stick across, and if any defender has been in that situation, it is one to be avoided. You are in a real dilemma there. If you leave the ball, or if it goes past you, it's to the forward who's going to pop it in the net, and you put your stick on it, and almost certainly it's going to go into the goal.
Well, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't under those circumstances, and England have the lead. They've had to be patient. Pakistan have given them a few problems at the other end. But it is England, the form team here, who get the first goal on the board. The first, I suspect, of many between these two sides who do like to attack and are more than capable of giving us yet another goal fest, should they feel so inclined.
And almost straight away, Nick, England back into that very deep position, getting the ball very deep into the Pakistan circle. Here they go again. Oh, Will Counter, I thought, was just about to call for a referral. I think he thought that might have been inside the circle, but nonetheless, the play is almost entirely camped inside the Pakistan 23.
Yes, England turning the screw on Pakistan here, recognising phases in the game, and Pakistan obviously a little shell-shocked having conceded that goal, albeit in slightly fortuitous circumstances, but had the skipper not got the deflection, Sam Ward was poised, it would have been a simple tap into an empty net. But the goal will be credited to Henry Croft, the last English player to touch the ball before the ball rolled over the line. England again coming forward with pace.
Williamson again, Nick, and what's very pleasing about this from an England perspective is that with all the attention on the likes of Wallace and Goodfield and Salisbury, Connor Williamson, playing a line behind them, is completely comfortable in bringing the ball forward, and that's proving to be a really effective strategy for them at the moment.
Pakistan in possession, trying to weave their way into the England circle, but England covering the space well there. Sanford. Sanford again. Very, very strong and reliable defender, Liam Sanford. No frills. A bit like our airline.
Yes.
England quickly on the break here. Another incisive attack. That's hit a foot on the edge. England going for the jugular here because they feel as if they've got Pakistan on the ropes.
They are, but to Pakistan's credit, Nick, that free hit was given away right on the edge, but critically outside of the circle. But we can see they're defending, needing to defend deeper and deeper. It's the intensity of this England play. The way that England are spreading the ball, it's making it very difficult for Pakistan to get any pressure on the source of the pass. So what we're seeing now is England being able to pick and choose where it is they want to come into the circle, whether that's via a player directly or through a little deflection. And that's all down to the way that they're shifting the ball from side to side, in and out of the midfield.
Some sad news coming out of England hockey today, the passing of John Cadman, who was, I think, the first director of coaching of England hockey, and oddly enough, Todd, you and I were discussing only yesterday about the marvellous tone that was the hockey coaching manual. It really was a tone. produced very largely by the said and now sadly late John Cadman. John would have enjoyed this tonight, I'm sure.
Sandford will be disappointed with that. This is now starting to take the shape of the sort of end-to-end play that is very much Pakistan's wheelhouse. So I'm sure Zach Jones will want his team to get this game back under control pretty quickly.
Pakistan first to a bouncing ball there, nicely taken on the run there by Abdullah.
Oh, here's a chance. Oh, well done, James Gall.
All doing well, keeping tabs on the very dangerous Rana there.
But this type of game, Nick, where it's very quick turnover, one after the other, it's very easy to get caught up in it because of the opportunity that you think is there.
Yes, and England don't want it to get into that sort of game. They don't want this to become a game of you attack, we attack, because there are a few better exponents.
Oh, dear.
Well, I didn't say it like that, I have to say.
I'm just not sure there was any need for a whistle there. I think that was all pretty much in order. Let the play go on, but nonetheless, here we are.
England very sensibly not involving themselves in any discussions with umpires. Not going to take the chance of taking things for referral. Not that that would have been one for them anyway, but that's an attempted threaded pass through there, and it's worked out very well for England.
It has.
Terrifically read there. England putting in a lot of work.
One of the many wonderful features of Zach Wallace's skill set, Nick. He's a fabulous passer of the ball, and the purists will love the fact that he throws a lovely weighted pass. He can see space and put the ball into an area for players to run onto. Reminiscent of probably one of the best exponents ever of doing it in Ashley Jackson.
Who's now part of Zach Jones's backroom coaching staff, brought in almost as a consultant for the things that actually can contribute to. England will be playing in their 15th World Cup this summer, and sad to relate, in those 14 subsequent World Cup appearances, only one medal has been gleaned, and that was back in 1986 when England took silver. It's just slipped my mind, Todd.
Took silver to who was it again?
I can't remember now, actually. I think it was another Commonwealth country.
Yes, it was, Nick.
It was a breakthrough tournament for Australia. It come so close so often, but finally, under the great Alan Berry's management, they got the monkey off the back.
Yes, Nick, Richard Aggers had a bit to do with that as coach, and actually, Nick, in talking about the very sad news of John Cadman, there's been recent sad news of the loss of Michael Nobbs, one of that team, and a huge character in not just Australian hockey but world hockey. There's many Japanese players, for example, and Indian players that were lucky enough to come under the eye of Michael Nobbs, and a very sad loss to our game, particularly in Australia.
Well, I think his tentacles reached a little further than that even. He was a fine man. Hockey's lost a lot of stalwarts, too many in recent months, certainly too many to mention.
And back to this game, Nick, and all of those people we've mentioned would not want us dwelling too much on them. They'd want us on the game, but look at this.
Great pace, and that's going to be a penalty corner.
It is.
England not able to cope there with the speed down the right attack side. The umpires talking to each other.
And it really emphasises the point I was going to make, was that still this game is taking more of the shape that Pakistan will like. England have just become a little bit loose, coughed the ball up a bit easily, and it's this type of area where Pakistan are so skilled and so suited, they'll ask those questions of defenders. The ball will be put into spaces like that, and here we are, another test for the penalty corner defence.
Yes, Connor Williamson penalised that time.
Oh, it's fabulous defence from England.
Really disciplined, aren't they, in those circumstances?
Payton's going to get this, or it's good enough. Yes.
England recycling it again. Just slowing things down a bit while people get back in position.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see this penalty corner replay if we get it, Nick, because we've had a number of teams in the tournament struggling with their penalty corner defence, and this is the difference, because it's not just the number one run, it's then the subsequent actions after that, the reactions, and also the skill level. And we're not just talking about handling the ball under pressure, we're talking about handling the ball under pressure while you're wearing gloves and a mask.
Yeah. All fair. Now, having said I wasn't going to dwell any more on the obituary column,
yeah.
Todd, I'm going to throw one name out there.
Yes.
Somebody would certainly have enjoyed this one. Imran Shawani.
Oh yes, absolutely.
And our thoughts with his family on occasions like this one tonight.
Indeed they are. And one of the things that I love about the likes of Shawani, Nobbs, these people, Nick, is that so often you'll see a passage of play and someone will say, oh, that's, it reminds me of one of them. For Shawani, it would be, well, in fact, both of them, it would be their tight skill. Nobbs in defence, Shawani up front. You see anything with a left side defender just fabulously drifting through defenders like they're standing still, and it's reminiscent of the 1988 Olympic Games that everyone remembers so well. And that's the legacy they've left. As well, I'd hastily add, as being just unbelievably lovely people.
Yep. They were very different times, and the game has changed dramatically since those times, but they left a lasting legacy, that generation, and so many of them are still very involved in all sorts of levels of the game.
Good pass from Cownan, finding Banderak, but you can see, I wouldn't go as far to say Zach Jones is deliberately scratching his head in frustration, but you can just see that England just not quite with the sort of controlled fluency that they've had from the tournament so far. And I'm sure that's got a lot to do with the sort of pressure Pakistan are putting them under. Oh, now that's an opportunity lost right there, Nick. That was Moin Shakil, who had done a wonderful job in eliminating. Now, I think this is either Banderak or Payton that's been green. Payton, I think it is.
Well, Banderak's already had.
Yeah, so it couldn't be him because it's
green.
It's only a green card.
I think Banderak was just about to come on onto the field.
Yes, that's exactly it.
But he's been sent back by Paul Gannon, the England manager.
So as we head to half-time, Nick, the positives for England are that they're ahead, but the positives for Pakistan is that it's much more like the sort of game that they know they can thrive in.
Ward coming very quickly into the heels of the Pakistan player. You would have heard him coming.
Oh, and they have no referral in any case.
Well, that's drifted wide of the post. Mazzarello had switched with Ollie Payne at quarter time, watched it all the way.
Oh, in any case, Nick, it was a tackle I'm 99% sure which came in from Hooper looked clean to me, so I don't think if they'd had a referral it would have amounted to anything.
And so we reach half time here, England with a lead, but it's a very slender one. They're not funny as perhaps as comfortable as they would have wanted and some of us might have thought, because Pakistan are digging in here and showing that they are more than capable of giving this highly ranked England team. Remember, they come into this match tonight ranked 4th in the world, and they're in a real contest here.
They are, and part of that contest, Nick, is we saw words being exchanged between the teams as they left the pitch.
कॉपीराइट की वजह से आवाज़ बंद कर रहा हूँ, थोड़ी देर तक ऑन कर दूँगा जैसे ही ओपन होगी। इस पर कॉपीराइट आ जाएगा ना वीडियो के ऊपर। कोशिश करूँगा सही से पहले हाइलाइट्स इसकी अपलोड कर दूँगा मैं। जी, तो कहाँ कहाँ से देख रहे हैं आप लाइव? क्या लगता है कौन जीतेगा? अभी मैच स्टार्ट हो जाएगा तो लाइव की आवाज़ ऑन हो जाएगी। आखिरी इंशाल्लाह सहरी से पहले हाइलाइट्स अपलोड कर दूंगा। चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर ले और बेल आइकॉन प्रेस कर ले साथ ही। 5 मिनट का वक्फा है, वापस बैक आते हैं लाइव इंशाल्लाह। तब तक चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर दें और बेल आइकॉन प्रेस कर दें। हाइलाइट्स अगर देखनी है तो सहरी से पहले अपलोड हो जाएंगी इसी चैनल के ऊपर। मेरी कोशिश होगी जल्द से जल्द हाइलाइट्स अपलोड कर दूं। बस हो गया स्टार्ट में स्टार्ट कर रहा हूँ।
From the first half that's seen England build a 1-goal lead and sets up very nicely for the second half.
Yeah, and as we look at these highlights, it started with a very early penalty corner for England, which was dealt with comfortably, but the big news out of that corner was that Pakistan had coughed up their referral, seemingly needlessly. Then England really gained control of the game, the match, and started to really work the ball into the attacking circle deeper and deeper, and eventually that led to the first and only goal, with Goodfield pushing the ball across, and Butt being in a really working their way back into the play. They'd forced a couple of penalty corners which had been defended very, very well by England, but nonetheless we started to see that Pakistan were getting more and more of the ball, and with that tension started to rise, and that's very much playing into the Pakistan game plan. And it'll be interesting to see. We spoke at the beginning of the match about England coping with a final, first big final international hockey for many players, and that's part and parcel of winning a big game like this. So seeing how they respond to that type of pressure after half time is going to be one of the key points of interest. This is a replay of that goal again. Poor Ahmed Butt in really, really awkward situation there. You mistrap that ball, it's a goal. You trap it, and you're under immediate pressure. And if you mistrap it, then, well, exactly what has happened.
So there's the statistical record of that first half. For me, Todd, we saw a little bit of feistiness as the teams left the field at half-time. Nothing wrong with that. But if I was Zach Jones and the England coaching team, I'd be quite eager to keep my teams focused entirely on this game and not get involved with any of the sideshows, things that might be kicking off.
No, that's absolutely right, Nick, and I'm sure he will have reminded his group about this, and it's just simple horses for courses, if you like. Pakistan like to play the game at a high level of anxiety, if you like. They're fully committed to what they're doing. And particularly if you're playing like, and it's a counter-attacking style, so there is a frenetic nature to the way that they play. That's the natural style of their play. But for England, they'll want control not just of the ball, but of their emotions and obviously their behaviour. And the fact that they've had a couple of green cards tells you, for Backchat, tells you that maybe they haven't quite got that part of their game exactly as where they want it at the moment.
So England know they're in a scrap here, but they do have that narrow lead. They'll be looking to add to it as soon as they possibly can in this second half. But Pakistan are a team that thrive in chaos in some ways, and the more chaos they can introduce to the game, the more they fancy their chances. England, by contrast, are a little more orthodox, a little bit more disciplined. And it's important that their style of play, from an English point of view, is the one that prevails here. But that was very much a question of doubt going into half-time.
Well, that's exactly right, Nick, and that control, if you like, and that level of passing movement, that's where we saw England take the lead. It wasn't through a great piece of flowing play, but what they were doing was controlling the play so well that they were literally passing it or running it deep into the Pakistan circle, and it was from that they scored. But pretty much from a couple of minutes after that, it looked like they were really taking the complete control of the game. But then, as I say, ever so slowly, Pakistan just started to turn it more into the type of game that they like the look of.
So where we go into the second half here. England in that all-white strip, Pakistan in their traditional and very smart all-green.
When you play Pakistan, Nick, you'll often hear coaches and players talk. You'll hear words like being thorough and extra pass and things of that nature, rather than just being as direct as Pakistan will be to you. And just noticing that England not quite as accurate as they have been, and they want to get control of the ball and start moving this Pakistan team around.
Got a slight distraction in front of us. A number of dignitaries have arrived and taken their seats in the front row of the VIP section, and quite a gathering of paparazzi as well. So,
well, I'm distracted, Nick, but someone that's as used to camera flashes and paparazzi as you, I'm sure that's all very much another day at the office.
yes, I think not. But away we go. Let's get back to the hockey.
This is already better from England. This is getting the game back to what it looked like in the first quarter. Nice and sharp, committing the Pakistan team to one side of the pitch, moving them around, as I said, and then picking their moment to attack rather than just as a response to what they've just dealt with.
Pakistan quickly on the break, fleet of foot down that left-hand side. Nice little turn back inside, and again.
Very good from Rana there. Now here they come. But a good tackle, very good tackle. Good field getting back, and then Williamson getting them going forward.
Salisbury penalised by the South African umpire on that side.
And this is what England will want to do something about, Nicky.
Pakistan on the ball, looking for the shot. Pakistan thought they were going to get a penalty corner there, but the umpire didn't.
The really simple thing to do if you're watching at home is just count the number of passes that are made before England lose it. There it was Williamson out to Salisbury and then a free hit again straight away. That means the ball's being turned over very quickly, means that you're struggling to establish your game onto Pakistan, and that type of quick transition is exactly how they like to play it.
England on the charge. This is the sort of game that England are not experienced in this tournament at all. Not even close to this. But this is, if you like, a proper game.
That's right, Nick. And speaking to Zach Jones, it's back in 2024 is the last time they played each other.
Yeah.
They're both in the Pro League, but so far they've played in different venues. So you're absolutely right, and it's one of those things that until you experience it, you really don't know what it's like.
Until you see your players playing under this sort of intensity against such a passionate team as Pakistan, perhaps Zach Jones will be learning a lot about the calibre that he has within his ranks. I'm sure he's in no doubt about that, but it's always good to see players when they're put under a different sort of pressure. Oh, this is a chance.
Oh.
Brave defending.
As you say, a good chance, but most importantly, Nick, this is the critical feature. I told you about counting those passes. This is now, there's been 2 circle entries already. England still in possession. This is where they really get to dictate the play. That will be a penalty corner.
And by getting his whistle quickly there, and that's always sensible.
And that's very clearly more of what England want. Extended periods of possession, in control of the ball, then being able to, just that lovely little pass from Payton. It's the weight of that pressure that then leads to this mistake. And this would be an excellent way to cap off what's been a good couple of minutes.
Yes, a good little period of play here from England.
We've got Sam Ward who's moved to the left. Sam Hooper is to the right. And it wouldn't surprise me if this is Hooper.
It is.
Oh, yes.
That is Hooper at his very best. Sam Hooper there, drilling it home, and that's fairly rattled into the backboards. And England and their fans at home can breathe perhaps a little more easily here.
And that's just sheer power, Nick. We can see Pakistan goalkeeper Raymond there, he's really disappointed, but that's just all about the speed off the stick. The little shift there, Hooper, that's right down the middle. It's so difficult for goalkeepers to defend. particularly when you catch them on the outside foot, because they're trying to bring that foot in as quick as they can. And Hooper, there's just too much pepper on that, I'm afraid.
Yeah, he's falling backwards, which he beats his stick into the turf, but it never looks good when it goes for the legs. But well, we see plenty going in that particular space.
Yeah.
Where the goalkeepers are at the most vulnerable. They can't stand there with their feet together because they have to move.
Yeah. May I say, Nick, the sound of that backboard is something that every corner striker of every generation will love. That was a lovely thump.
Very solid, wasn't it?
Yeah. Good reward, Nick, for England there. We were talking about what style of game they want to play, and it was exactly that they put together. As I said, they had, within the same period of possession, 2 or 3 circle entries. Pakistan just couldn't get a stick on it. Then eventually, that lovely little pass into the circle from Payton. When you've got the weight of that possession, then you can take risks like that. They win the corner, and it's been emphatically converted by Sam Hooper.
Yes, England will be pleased with the way things are shaping up. We know they've got excellent cover in the goalkeeping department, the 2 world-class goalkeepers.
Yeah.
But England's options at the penalty corner set piece, which are so important and will continue to be so important right away through and beyond the upcoming World Cup.
And you can see,
in really good shape.
You can see, Nick, James Aubrey and Liam Sanford have exchanged probably around 10 passes by now. They're being really patient, and you can see the impact that's having. Pakistan players getting absolutely no chance to put pressure on, create a turnover. To go back to what I was saying before, we saw a few passages of play where England barely held it for more than 2 passes. So all credit to them.
Well, this is where you really take the sting out of your opponent by making them do the legwork, chasing the ball. England giving Pakistan the runaround at the moment. It can all change in the blink of an eye.
Oh, James Gall has done very well there. Like Connor Williamson in the first half, it's still a free hit. But look at the difference. England now with numbers back.
Yes, he's taken all the sting out of that attack, hasn't he? Another player who's had a really good tournament, James Gall. Very industrious. Pakistan's skipper here on the ball, plays the ball back. Quite a long way back.
And it's a good point you make, Nick, about James Gall, because, as we've said, quite understandably, players like Sorsby and Wallace have been pretty quickly closed down, and whether it's Connor Williamson from the back or James Gall, they've stepped up in this game.
They have. I think although England may not have the out-and-out superstars, although 1 or 2 would be certainly up there in that category, what they are is a very hard-working team, and they're a team rather than a collection of individuals. And when you're going into the intensity, that will be the World Cup. That's exactly what you need.
Well, I think that's an excellent point, Mick, because I think that really sums up how they play. And I'm sure they'd be delighted with that. Oh, that's good. Very good. And what's so interesting about that, Nick, is if you talk to players and coaches, then the likes of Wallace and Sorsby are very much in people's conversation, but there's not too many coaches you talk to that won't want James Aubrey, Jack Waller. Oh, very good play again.
Well, another one, we've hardly mentioned him today, but he always puts in 100% for the team. David Goodfield, of course. Now,
exactly.
Now very much in the veteran category, but a great reader of the game. and he's imparting his experience to the younger players coming in.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And again, look at the quality of that possession, which leads to the quality of the circle entry. And we have with Sam Hooper, and it's James Gould. Nothing again. I know, in fact, it's Nick Bandrak, so that is definitely another option, but I'm going to suggest that Sam Hooper will get this chance.
Well, I have to say, Todd, why wouldn't you give him a chance with that sort of delivery?
Well,
wow. Goalkeeper just left to admire that one.
now, I know the Hooper family very well, Nick, and I've been following what Sam's been doing, and
He's not been wasting his time.
he's not been wasting his time, but increasingly, I think his power has been getting up to the very top echelon of world hockey. He scored against the Netherlands in the Pro League, and this is really right up there. This is making every team in the world wake up and have a bit of a look, I think. Fabulous conversion.
Keeper a full stretch, but he wasn't getting that. James Mazzarello there, supporting from the bench. He'll have some empathy. He'll have faced plenty of those Hooper penalty corners in training. He'll know the power he can get behind it, which is good for England's goalkeepers that they're facing out on a regular basis.
Absolutely.
And also good for Hooper. He's faced with two world-class goalkeepers
Yes.
trying to get the ball past. So
Absolutely right.
it's a win-win situation for England there. You and I were speaking to a Pakistani penalty corner specialist as we left the hotel ahead of this game. One or two of you may have heard of his name at home. Sahel Abbas, now embedded with the Malaysian team, but one of the very best. He would have enjoyed that one.
He certainly would have, Nick. And for those people who understand cricket, or
Does anybody?
yes, well that's true. Just watching here. Oh dear, that's so close.
England threatening to run the riot here as Pakistan feeling the heat.
But sports like cricket and baseball, where you're dealing with fast bowlers, you know, batsmen will tell you that the difference between someone bowling high 80 mile an hour compared to those in the 90s it's a world apart, and it's very much the same with drag flicking. And I'd be interested to hear where Sam Hooper's featuring on the radar at the moment, because you've got
England starting to turn it on. I think they're enjoying this, and what they ought to do. This is the reward for an excellent tournament.
yes. Oh, good save.
Ward rushing into the keeper's pads there.
Change of goalkeeper for Pakistan, and a good early save. But I think we're getting to an interesting point in this game, Nick. We know no team like Pakistan is able to come back from this sort of scoreline. But equally, I think we're getting to the realms of... Oh, there we are.
Williams.
Yeah.
Williams. You and your big mouth.
Yes.
Pakistan have got one back.
Or have they? Or have they?
Well, England are... Well, they are going to take it referral. They, of course, still have their referral.
Stick broke by the Pakistan player outside of the field. Okay, outside the circle, please. Yeah, stick broke by the attacker.
The audio wasn't great in my ear, but it seems to be looking for a stick block
Yeah.
on
So
the
I
way
think
through here.
the actual goal itself, Nick, is probably a little bit...
Go back.
I think it's a little bit similar
back.
to the
Yes.
first Pakistan goal. Here we go.
No, before this one, go back. Director, go back, please.
So I think it's Nick Park on the near post that's unfortunately got that little touch on the ball that's taken it past Ollie Payne, but that's not what we need to see. We need to see the early bit.
No, from the 23 meters. Go back, please.
A little bit of a problem with communication between the video umpire and the... Here we go.
Can everyone get along just fine over there?
This is what we want.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Just let me know. Okay, decision coming.
Well, having seen it once in a real speed, normal
Can
speed.
you hear me? No. There is no clear reason to change your decision. You can go.
So the goal will stand. He made that call very quickly, very efficiently. But like us, he's got a plane to catch.
Yes. And the point I was about to make, Nick, before I was so rudely interrupted by the goal, was that we were at that point, we just had our answer, where England were on the verge of having this completely under their control, unless Pakistan were able to score, which is precisely what they've done.
I don't think you can deflect blame away from yourself entirely there.
I have tried.
Todd Williams, you have tried.
Yeah.
And
Failed?
failed.
Yes, okay, thanks for that.
Miserably. So, is that a consolation or the start of a recovery? Only time will tell. And as Zach Jones was saying with Pakistan, you never really know.
No.
But he'll give them a glimmer of hope where there was no hope before. Now England are in a bit of pressure here.
Yes.
Well, that could have been a further embarrassment.
Yes, and let's not forget, Nick, that Japan, and I appreciate there's a big difference currently between England and Japan, but Japan were leading 3-1 yesterday.
They were.
Up until 6 minutes to go in the final quarter, so we still have plenty of hockey to play. But immediately, and this goes back to the comments we were making early, England straight back into that control of the play.
Yes, using up the time, making their opponents chase the ball. Because if England have got the ball, Pakistan cannot hurt them. It's a simple game, really. Getting perilously close to the end of this third quarter.
Well, a minute to go, more than enough time for both teams to make an impact on the scoreboard. Mahmood with the big aerial.
England watching all the way onto the stick now. Not easy under floodlights.
No.
The ball can get caught up there and you're momentarily blinded, but England doing well there. Nice little change of pace. But not the best of passes at the end of it. One thing that goal does assure us of, though, Todd, is the final quarter is going to be a lively old affair.
Yes, yes.
Pakistan will now think this is well within their wheelhouse to come back and do what Pakistan teams have always done. Entertain and take it right to the wire. Well, England's last ploy is to throw the ball as far away from their goal as possible, which is where they want it to be for the remaining quarter of an hour in this one. But it could be a fairly torrid last 15 minutes here, because as you can see from the expressions on the Pakistani team face as they leave the field here, they are determined. There could still be something in this. Ollie Payne, England's goalkeeper, may well have played his last minutes. James Mazzarello will be coming on, I think, for the last quarter here. And let's look at the highlights from that very entertaining quarter.
Yeah, and the highlights are all about Sam Hooper. That was his first conversion of a penalty corner, and it was very much the perfect response to what had been a scrappy second quarter from England. They really got control of the game and that was proven even more with Hooper's second fabulous corner down the right-hand side of the goalkeeper. And at that point, Nick, it was all England. And we were on the point of saying that they were establishing themselves into what would be an excellent and unchaseable lead. And then as soon as those words started to come out of my mouth, as ever with Pakistan, they took it into the circle, and off Nick Park scored their first goal, and here we are, England 3, Pakistan 1.
Todd, you know the family well. Sam Hooper's 27 years of age, only 21 caps, and yet he's clearly a penalty corner striker of some note. What's the story there?
Well, it's a case of hard work, biding his time, and then critically with penalty corners, Nick, you can see from his action that he's a strong boy, a strong man with long levers, and I go back to the idea of it being very similar to, being a fast bowler in cricket. He's now up there with the guys that are getting it going as fast as anybody does. So you're talking about the sort of 116 to 120 kilometres an hour. And you're talking about the Hendricks of the world, Rintala from Australia at the moment, Argentina have got a couple. And it really does set you apart. And that's exactly what this England team needs.
That's what every team needs.
Yes.
My question really is he a Johnny-come-lately? Has it been a slow burn in terms of his development as a player?
Well, it's also, I talk about bide your time, Nick. There's, players like, for example, David Ames, who was playing in exactly the same type of position for a while. So,
Yes, dead men's shoes.
Importantly for Sam Hooper, though, Nick, he's a big, strong man, but he moves well. He's got really good footwork. We've seen him play, not just score corners today, but he's playing well.
On the subject of big, strong men, Todd, having been fairly morbid with our notable obituary list in the first half, on a slightly happier note, happy wedding anniversary to Jim and Sue Irvin. 54 years married today, an old sparring partner of yours, and somebody I always claim as my country cousin, but as far as I know, no relation apart from the exact same spelling of our surnames.
Yes.
I'd be very happy to claim him. I'm not sure it's necessarily reciprocated.
Same spelling, different pronunciation, may I say. He's very much Jim Irvine.
Yeah, I know. But I never look to Australians for lessons on pronunciation, quite frankly.
But not so much a sparring partner, just fortunate enough I've been to be one of the many, many hockey players that have benefited from his knowledge and experience.
Yeah, and he's left a legacy of great friendships in and around Amsterdam, of course, where he was embedded for a while. And they loved him there.
Yes, Nick, I can tell you from experience, you'll learn more about defensive shape and structure with Jim Irvine in a cafe with salt and pepper shakers and a flat white than any other person I know. Now, that's all going on there. That looks to have come off a body. Whether it was lifted or not, I don't know. Pakistan don't have a referral, and neither do England, do they, Nick? Have they? Yes, they've both used them.
They have both launched and lost. Victor is being served something which looks like it might revive and fortify, but it's probably no more than a tea or a coffee, but it looks very nice down there.
It does.
We had a shot of a moment ago, it looked like the Politburo or something, but Taya Vikram, the president of the International Hockey Federation, is very much up front and central to that group there. That's the top man in hockey around the world.
Oh, good trap. But Waller, they'll get this. Sensible from Waller. That's a really good, smart piece of play there, Nick. And clearly this is England's recognised strategy. Very happy just to soak up time.
Jack Waller gets a lot of work, doesn't he?
Oh, well, go back to that, your point about superstars, Nick. There's, as I say, a number of players out there for England that are very highly regarded by their peers on the international circuit. This fellow, number 7, Zach Wallace, being probably top of the list. When you talk about currently the best players in the world, it's people like him, Tom Craig that are being mentioned. Tom Craig from Australia, of course, but here's a chance.
That was a bit loose. Well, England have coughed up a penalty corner here, and that was a little un-England-like in this context of this tournament. They've been very disciplined, but that was a poor challenge. No real surprise the umpire's gone for the penalty corner here.
You can see the reaction from Mohammed Ahmed here, just as it's Waleed Rana, the younger of the Ranas, have won this ball.
I'm not sure Pakistan actually wanted a whistle here.
No, that's exactly what they were saying. Watch number 35, Mohammed Ahmed there. That's shortly before he buried his stick into the pitch, but nonetheless, here we are. Mahmood to the left. That's where it'll go, I suspect. No, to the right.
Slip back, shot. Oh, that's deflected wide.
Now, who's got the touch on that?
Was it the postman or was it the keeper?
Based on the sound, Nick, which was we didn't hear the sound of the stick, but I think that's Mazzarello, and that is really a remarkable piece of work. This could be, well, from that range, if he saved that, this would be save of the tournament for me. Fortunately, we're not getting a replay just yet.
There's hardly been a break in play, and that's the way this game is like to end up. Now, if that one had gone in, almost 10 minutes left, it would have been like the Alamo down there, I think. And Pakistan really would have thrown what little caution they had to win.
Here it is, so it's Sifian Khan, pass behind the back. Oh, I think that's Aubrey on the line.
Yes, it's certainly not the keeper.
No.
Paul Gannon, the manager there, with clenched fist in celebration. That's a great contribution there from James Aubrey.
I think the reason we haven't heard it, Nick, is because it's just, we go back to the cricket as our topic. He's just literally just guided it off the face of his stick behind. That's a marvellous save.
Yeah. Right off the sweet spot there. Ahmad taking a card for Pakistan, so they're down in number.
Oh, yes.
And that's, with Pakistan down to 10, England immediately finding a way through and opening up a 3-goal lead again. And that might just put this one firmly to bed now.
Well, interested to see who scored that in the end. Is it off Banderak? It's Fox. He's done brilliantly along the baseline. Has Banderak got an inside edge on that? If there's one person that can score from there, it's definitely him. But
make a good poker player, Zach Jones, wouldn't he?
He does. He would. But notice that James Aubrey front and centre in that celebration, Nick, and rightly so, because, well, what could have been 3-2 is now 4-1 on the basis of that fabulous save that we saw from James Aubrey.
Well, the post defenders of the penalty corners don't get enough credit for their work. When you watch just how much power goes into the penalty corner, the fact they're standing there just with a slither of wood to defend themselves is remarkable.
Oh, and in particular in that type of scenario, Nick, where it's not just from the top of the circle, because of that pass behind the back. Abu Mahmood is flicking that from, gosh, 13, even 12 metres.
Ben Fox has been credited with a goal. Certainly initially, Todd, not necessarily the final say, but that's certainly the initial.
So that would indicate that for the third time today, Nick, the last touch on it has been actually
Off the defender.
Off the defender.
Not been the best of days, or the luckiest of days for deep-seated defenders. England putting clear daylight between themselves and their Pakistan opponents here.
Yeah. They've definitely got this game currently well under control, which of course means that Pakistan are about to score. Yeah.
There you go again.
And I'm hastily reminding myself that at this point yesterday, Japan were leading 3-1. So Pakistan scored 3 to win it in that time. So.
Well, we used to talk about the Germans, the side that were never beaten until they were on the bus going home. And you could say the same about Pakistan, the way they've approached this tournament. They're certainly not taking any easy routes.
No, but you can see, you see how deep James Albury is here, and that's the critical bit. That means that they've always got that insurance, and that's what's allowing them to play with such a level of control and have the options that they've got, and that makes it very, very difficult for Pakistan to press and create any sort of turnover.
Whether that's been called as a tactic from the bench or whether that's just the on-field collective intelligence, I don't know. Certainly, Tom, maybe you've got a...
Oh no, that's very much part of the plan, Nick. That's the way that teams will deal with, for example, high man-to-man pressure. Now, who's this for?
Sam Ward seems to be making his way across.
Well,
is it Ward who's going to sit down here?
Looks to be, yes.
Well, he knows the way. He likes a bit of a sit down, does Sam? You don't want to take the fire out of his game. He'll be smarting that England have scored 4 and none of them down to him.
Yes, that's right. He's been close on a few occasions. We've seen a couple that have just zipped past his reverse stick side, but as any striker will tell you, that's part and parcel of the life of a striker.
Yes, he's been a constant thorn, a constant irritant to the Pakistani team, and a few sides around the world will just know how irritating he can be. Including England on occasion.
My great friend Nick, former Australian striker and now Kookaburra coach Mark Hager, would always tell strikers, if the ball zips past you, don't worry, keep the right position, don't go looking for it.
Pakistan looking for something by way of what would almost certainly only be a consolation hit.
Oh, that's bold. No, I think you're absolutely right, Nick, and I think a consolation reflecting what's been by and large an excellent England performance. They weren't at their best for a bit in the second quarter, but since then in this half I think they've been absolutely
They've been at it, haven't they?
Yeah, they've been at it, and they've all, right from the first moment of this tournament, they've been the best team here. Which their world ranking suggests they should be, of course, but you've still got to get the job done, and getting the job done is exactly what they've done, which is leading me to...
Indeed. Nice ball handling again. Good to see that Pakistan have not given this up. Still playing for the shirt. Playing for each other.
Yeah, so as we go into the last couple of minutes, in what has been, Nick, for me, an excellent England performance. Every player on the pitch has contributed, but the game is ultimately about getting the little white ball into the rectangular box at the other end, and that's why for me, Nick, the game was really broken apart with those two powerful conversions from Sam Hooper. He's also played very well in the game, along with Waller and Albury and Williamson at the back, but I think those two penalty corner conversions is what's really given or put England into the comfortable position that they're in. And England number 33, Sam Hooper, is my player of the match.
A good call, Todd, and thank you for all of your calls, both in terms of the play-by-play stuff, but also the Man of the Match awards that you've made light of. Not an enviable task ever. As far as Pakistan are concerned, one of the things I really hope is this final match defeat here, and I think we can talk in those terms now without being embarrassed by it turning around. So only to highlight the work that Pakistan now need to do between this tournament and the qualification and the World Cup itself proper.
Yes.
Not to detract from their achievements in getting back in the big time, getting back onto the world stage. They're a team now that needs the backing of the Pakistani hockey fans. Get behind them and see how high you can build their confidence levels going into the World Cup.
Well, Nick, I think it's all about stability, and it's the stability of play is based around the comfort of things like knowing that you're going to the World Cup.
Yep. Ripped out. Little indecision on the penalty corner. England gleefully smashing it away. We've got a Pakistani player down in the circle. I think it's more fatigue than anything else. He's up again now.
Yeah, and I go back to the point about my choice of Hooper as player of the match. Pakistan, I think, Nick, I need to check my numbers, but I think they've had as many penalty corners as England, if not more. And I think there's more differences to the game than just this, but very clearly it's that efficiency of conversion provided by Hooper that's made one of the big differences in the game.
Yeah, I think they both had 3 penalty corners.
Yeah.
But yes, England's conversion rate has been most impressive. For England, well, they too will be working very hard between now and the World Cup. They'll want to keep the team unity, but just fine-tune a few things. Lots of in-depth study of opponents, which they'll know more about, of course, once the draw is made. 4-1 back for Pakistan, but Ben Fox scoring late on. And I think Zach Jones and his England squad here can look back on a highly professional and highly successful